Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Symphony. I just want to confirm that we can be heard on the net. Waiting for confirmation. Because this is Symphony if there isn't some sort of technical issue. So let's just confirm we can be heard. Okay, I'm getting a thumbs up on that. So welcome to everybody here to the Symphony, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. If you're on live, VOD, jump into the chat because I know our players that are watching will enjoy that. Otherwise, if you're watching at home, welcome, and we do hope you enjoy the game. Symphony Entertainment is a gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, and organic content with player agency, bringing you a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I'm your host tonight, Perry Clark. This afternoon, we're going to be playing Cthulhu. We're going to be playing A King is Born in the Cthulhu Dark System. So, quick announcement: Symphony Entertainment has a Patreon. If you'd like this content and would like to help us create more, please back Symphony on the Patreon. You can check that out at Patreon Symphony Entertainment. Content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. The X card is in play, and X's can be sent via private messages. No judgment passed, no questions asked. We will also be using the green, yellow, and red traffic light method, which can be called by any cast member at any time. So without further ado, let's unveil this cast. Cast members, please introduce yourself, tell us where people can find you, and some of the things you're doing, starting with Matt.
And hello, everybody. I'm Matthew Crouch. You can find me on most Discord channels as Momentary NPC. You've seen me on the stream with the Symphony before, and it's always a pleasure to stream with them. Such a fantastic crew of people. What's going on with me currently? One of the things I'm doing is working through playtests of the first Call of Cthulhu scenario I have written. Had 2 online ones, going to be doing 2 live ones coming up very soon. And it is in part, not certainly, a large part due to the incredible support that the Symphony gives. And so thankfully to them and the people there on the Symphony, got to give a big shout out to that. So you can find me there. We have a day job, but we'll just leave that alone for the time being. And for the most part, I'm just happy to be here and happy to be streaming with the Symphony. Looking forward to this amazing cast and Chris, of course, ruining all of us.
And next up on this hit parade, we have Skip.
Hi, I'm Skip Morton. I am a Skip's keeper on the Discord chats. I have been on Symphony for going on 2 years now, so you can see me here and there. I've also done a few guest shots on the Old Ways podcast. Hello, everybody over there. And I am really, this is my second time playing Cthulhu Dark. I'm really dying to get in and play this again. I am really excited about this cast. I mean, the sound just with all of our voices hitting you is just going to sweep you into another dimension anyway. But we'll see what happens with the rest of us if we stay sane, if we stay alive, and let's get this thing underway. I'm excited.
Yeah, you didn't survive too well with those I'm actually blanking on it right now. I think it was Selkies that you dealt with in that particular game. You didn't do fare so well there. But who knows what other monstrosities and psychological horror we're going to be hit with. Thanks to our GM tonight, Chris.
Hello, I'm Chris Bates. On most of the socials and Discords, I'm Chris Ideas Ghoul. I am going to be the person that is ruining everyone allegedly tonight, but I see it more as I'll set the scene and let them ruin themselves. I am currently working towards a Cthulhu Gaslight thing that seems to forever be growing, but will eventually one day be hopefully something akin to a setting for people to use if they want somewhere to base their investigators. And with that, I will pass over to our final member of the cast, but never the least, back to our Perry.
Yes, and I'm Perry Clark. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, so I'm usually spending most of my time working my way through people's mental lives and such. Also, as Skip mentioned, we're working on sorry, not Skip, Matt, working on his writing his first journal, his first game, as I've also been doing that as well. And Matt, myself, and Rena, the very illustrious Arena, will be at Big Bad Con this weekend as well. So if you want to say hello to us there, you can probably find us. Otherwise, why don't we go ahead and get into this aspect and find out which king is being born today? To you, Chris.
Thank you, Perry. So, we will start our tale tonight with a little bit of a background and scene setting. So, we're on a dark country road. We are at that time of day when dusk is just turning into night. The moon is up, and it's got a slight tinge to the moon. It's not quite pink, but it's not quite the white that we normally would expect. And as we see this road driving its way straight through a large pine barren forest, this road goes in a straight line for quite some distance. And on that road, there is a single vehicle, a pickup truck. And in the pickup truck, there are three people. So let's introduce, first of all, our driver. Who is choosing to be our driver tonight? Is it you, Skip?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the driver's position. Um,
So who are you?
I am Drew Bud Davis. They call me Bud because I drink a lot of Budweiser, and the name is just picked up since I was 16. But we won't go into that. You see Bud as the camera pans back a little bit. He's wearing one of those 80s hats. It's blue and it says, "Damn, I'm good" on the front of it. Um, he is dressed in his fine, greasy white t-shirt, but he wears a bowling shirt over it. And if you get to look at the back of the shirt, it has a couple of bowling pins and it says "The Unbelievables" across the top. He is probably humming a Tom Jones tune to himself. And on the little dashboard on the truck, there's a picture of his girlfriend, Nene, or Natalie. And every once in a while, he'll just smile at her and go, and then keep on driving.
Okay. So next to Bud, we've got a passenger sat next to him who is someone who's known Bud all of his life. I think what we have next is Hank.
Okay. Well, sitting next to Bud is Hank the Tank Watson. Hank was, let's say, high school big shot adjacent. He was a football player in high school, but didn't quite get the scholarship, and so didn't necessarily know where he was going after that. But he ended up getting a nice job with the county. He's a highway maintenance worker now, doing road grading and repair. Probably did some work on this highway that we've done before. He's a kind of a known around town. He's kind of genial, waiting on the results of that supervisor application with the county. He's good for beer, good for going fishing, things like that. But sometimes he gets a little bit sad. Doesn't really talk about it. He just kind of gets a little sad. People just like, that's all Hank. He's probably just staring out the window right now and sort of in that headspace of glad to be here with buddies, but just getting that reverie that he gets sometimes.
Okay, and in the rear seat of this truck, we've got our third party member. We've got Raymond. Can you tell us a little bit about Raymond, Perry?
I'm Raymond Goodwin. Well, I grew up in these mountains as well, but I found my life actually taking me far afield. While we have our driver in his greasy shirt and bowling league, and our road worker, you have your international pop star, Goodwin. I'm channeling Tina Turner here, who has just come home due to certain issues with the family. And right now is just having a night out with old friends.
So apart from the issues with the family, what is it that puts you all in this truck tonight? Is it that you're arranging a fishing trip to take a step back from it all? Is it that you're going hunting for something? Or is it that part of those family issues involve, I don't know, maybe the three of you have got to travel to an event? What's the feeling in the truck? Are we happy? Are we melancholy?
I
What's
think we're
the
generally happy. I mean, I'm wondering if we had just picked up old Raymond from the airport, bringing him on back to where family is right now. And right now, this is in my head, I think sort of like the early stages of reconnecting and catching up with everybody. You know, his fancy bags are probably in the pickup truck back and button against a old igloo cooler and some toolboxes. I hope that leather don't scuff much.
Yeah, well, I had Versace give it an extra uh, protective coating. Besides, this is one way of not having any record showing for paparazzis to come chasing down after this. That's the last thing I need right now.
Is Versace one of them basketball players for the Hornets?
No, he's actually an Italian designer.
No.
That's
All
right, because Nene, she has one of them designer bags that she takes to work. She's still working. Raymond over, it smells so good in the mall. You know, the little kiosk gets all that perfume and everything. We were talking about Versace the other day because she was going to get one of them bags because when we hopefully save up enough money to get that RV that we both been wanting, she wants to go see Tom Jones down in Vegas, and she wants to carry that bag. She needs a big enough bag to carry all her perfume and her makeup and all that eyewear she wears. I don't know where she puts it in the house. You know, every time I go over there and pick it up, she won't let me into her bathroom. I got to use the guest bathroom while I'm over there because she said there's just not enough room for me and my big old belly and all that.
Well,
Smell
I'll
good
see what I
stuff.
can. I'll see what I can do. I hear that the 2025 line has got a bag that probably should fit that quite nicely. I'll see if I can get to knock one off the rack from there for you.
Nene would love that. She always thought took a shine to you anyway. So
Yeah, well, she's lucky enough to have you too. I mean, hey, you've been able to keep her happy after all some of the stuff that went through in high school.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So whilst you're all reminiscing and things are good in the back of the truck and everybody's settling into the journey, and you know that you've probably got around about another 2, 3 miles before you hit your turning, and you look out over to the side and you see all these trees going streaming past, and you notice the sunlight just never really came through those canopies, but the moonlight shines onto the ground. You don't know how it does it, but this moonlight seems to just penetrate through into the heart of this forest. And you know full well that as you're driving past, you see big oaks and trees and pines and all kinds of heavy, thick trunked arboretum type trees. And every single one of them just looks like it's there and it's ancient. And as you look over, you start thinking, how old is this forest? I mean, this has got to be way before man ever set a road through here. It's got to be way older than man's ever set foot in this area. But you notice that, this road is carving through this beautiful scenery, and it's just a long, straight road, and it starts to lull you into that sense of security of just a few more miles, and then you'll be at your turn in. You'll be able to just start to head off. You'll soon be with Nene. You'll soon have back to the accommodation. You'll be able to unload all of your luggage. You'll be able to settle down for that beer, and you'll all be able to swap those old stories. But as you're driving, you see something up ahead. There's something on the road or in the road. You're not sure entirely what it is. But as you're approaching it, you start to slow the truck slightly. And you see There's something in the middle of the road. Nothing major though, so you just pull over and drive past it, keep on going. And then you notice that trees to either side of you, well, there appears to be kind of like a standing stone on the side of the road that you go past. And this doesn't look familiar. But hey, it's been a while since you were down this road. I mean, the
Did
last time the
someone
three of you were down this road was when you were kids.
did someone new neighbors add something into the landscape? Because I don't remember that being there. I mean, I know it's been a while since I've been home, but I don't remember that being there.
I don't remember that being there either. I would have had to move around that the last time we graded through here. I don't recall that.
Well, didn't George used to own this land, and then he sold part of it, I think, to pay some of them bills he had rung up with that little gambling problem he had. But it's been so long. I mean, I think the last time we were down here, we were playing cops and robbers.
True. And out in them woods.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe it's
Well,
something that mining company put up. I don't know.
Might be.
as you continue down the road, again, the clouds start to move over the moon and it gets dark for a second. You're driving solely on the power of your headlights. All that you see as you start driving is there's something else in the middle of the road. So again, you start to slow a little, but you just pull over and drive past it. And then about 200, maybe 300 yards ahead, you see a standing stone at the side of the road. It looks very familiar. It's almost like you just seem to have driven in a circle, maybe.
Wait, didn't we just go through that a second ago?
Yeah. Did
You notice? But we're going straight, right? We're driving. There wasn't no turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There's no turn. Roll me for insight, everybody.
Got a 2.
Oh. let's start this off right.
Let's start this off right. So,
I'm going to go ahead and move that to a 2 as well on the die.
for those of you that don't know, an insight dice in Cthulhu Dark is when something's not quite right. And, at that point, when you see something disturbing, you roll your insight die. And if you get higher than your current score, which always starts at 1, you add 1 to your insight. And this is a scheme that builds up and up and up until you hit 6, when your mind just snaps. So immediately everyone's a little bit on edge over seeing this stone there. But you keep driving and you notice that, again, straight road, the moon comes back out. And as the moon suddenly glares down at you, Bud, I want you to make me a driving roll. So this will be a human roll. If your occupation as a mechanic would give you a bit of practice on driving, which I think it would, I think you can roll your occupation dice as well.
Okay.
And let's see what we get.
Yeah, he's been working on this F-150 for years because it's a Ford. He's got to fix it every day, so he's pretty good at it. Let's see. We'll go with the lowest on this, correct?
Yeah.
1.
So what happens is, as the moonlight sort of strikes you, you immediately sort of just blink away. And suddenly there's something in the road right in front of you. I want you to see if you can make me a human roll, just to see if you can avoid this thing.
5.
So a 5 is a success. You manage to hit the brake, and the emergency brake comes on just as you slam into an object. You see a face of an animal come up onto the hood of the vehicle. And you notice for a split second, just before its eyes close and it starts to shudder and quiver on the hood, that this is a giant stag and it's got bright, burning red eyes. You pull to a halt. What's the first thing that the three of you do?
God damn, bud, what the hell was that?
I don't know, but now, dang it, I gotta pop that. It's another 2 days worth of work on this thing.
Wait. Before we saw the standing stones, we swerved past something in the road twice.
Right.
Was that it?
I don't know. I really wasn't paying attention. I just saw something and I just dodged out of the way.
I was reckoning I'd have to come back and clean them up tomorrow.
Well, now it's on the hood.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
You
Take the-
hear a whimpering noise as the last breaths ebb out of this huge stag. There's nothing that you can do for it. It's dead, and it's now around about 200 pounds of stag on top of your hood.
Is it dead or just knocked out?
No, it's dead. As you check it, you can't feel a pulse.
Yeah.
There's no breath coming from it. It's a cold enough night you would see the crisp breath, but there's nothing coming out of its snout. It just seems to be completely lifeless. You didn't think you hit it that hard though, and it's a pretty huge specimen.
Guess I
Dang
better
it.
move it off to the side of the road.
Yeah, I'll call Deputy Davis and let him know we hit it. I know it's out of season, so I don't want anything to, you know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hop on out and head around to the front, see if I can't just scooch it off the front of the truck and push it over off to the side. So it's
Two
not,
of you were able to move it off of the hood of the vehicle, but you'd notice that there is now a very large dent in the front of the Ford truck. And you're not sure, but the radiator looks like it may have sustained some damage.
oh no.
I'll pop up the hood and just see if there's any steam coming out or anything like that.
You can see there's a little bit of steam, but nothing that looks too much at this point.
Do I see a hole in like one of the hoses where the impact was, somewhere around there?
Make me an occupation roll to see if you can fix.
That's a 5.
So you're pretty good with the mechanics of this thing. Like you say, you've been fixing it every day for years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ever since your daddy left it to you, really. So you start looking, and there's no hoses bust, but as you pull your arm back up, you just catch something and you realize there's a piece of antler that has pierced straight through the mesh at the front and is stuck into the radiator. The radiator's pierced.
Dang it. Hank, go in the toolbox. There's a big set of pliers in there. I'm going to pull it out.
All right.
And Raymond, are you still chewing gum like you used to?
Hey, helps with keep the jaw limber.
Put a couple pieces in and chew it up real good. I'm going to use it to plug the hole until we can get back to town. That should give us, there's plenty of water still in it.
Trust a mechanic not
Gotcha.
to have any Bondo in his damn toolbox.
Nene needed it for a project. Don't ask. She just came.
Fine. I'll go get the. I'll pick up a mallet too. See if I can't knock out that dent.
Yeah.
I might have one of those blackhead face mats that might also be useful for patching that up too. Let me go check that. We can use the gum to help bond it down.
So
I mean, gotta trust K Beauty.
you spend a few minutes effecting a repair, and you start the engine, and it takes a couple of tries to turn over, but that's nothing unusual. It's a Ford. It fires. You start on your way, and you leave the deceased stag at the side of the road. You kind of make a mental note of where it is, just so that you can report it to the deputy when you get back,
Mhm.
and you carry on driving. Obviously, you're now driving at a much slower rate because you don't want to kill the radiator completely. And so this time, as you come up to it, you see that the bundle in the middle of the road is like a small hamper or basket of some kind. Do you continue to weave around it like you did before?
Oh, no. Slow down, slow down,
Yeah.
slow
What
down.
the hell is that?
All right, I'll get out and check because it'll be easier for me to get out there from the rear seat and I'll approach it.
So you slowly approach. You're quite cautious because, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but yeah, you never know. I mean, this is the middle of nowhere, and it's a weird thing to be seeing. Is kind of like a wicker hamper.
Yeah, so
But
I'll
as you get
take out my phone and turn on the flashlight to get a better look at it.
as you get
Uh,
closer, you can see that there's something moving inside this hamper.
Begin to circle around it with the light so I can look inside.
As you look over the top of it, you see that there's what appears to be some kind of blanket or wrapping of some kind, and something small is wriggling around inside this basket.
I'll kneel and just slowly pull the blanket back just to get a better look.
Inside the basket, you find a newborn baby,
The hell?
but it's not just kind of it's not one of those babies that's been born for a few days. It's literally, you can tell this has been born within the last few hours. The shape of its skull is still kind of pointed, and you see that it's got four large kind of lumps on its head, strangely appearing kind of like all around its head. These small lumps appear to be kind of almost like a birth defect. Maybe this is why someone's abandoned this child.
I'll immediately swing the my phone up and start scanning the area around to see if there's anyone watching. Is like, who would leave a baby here?
Raymond, you see something?
It's a baby.
What?
Someone has left a baby in the middle of the road.
Bud, you got that floodlight back in the.
Yeah. Grab it out.
All right. So I'm gonna go and pull because there's a truck set up for hunting too and everything like that. There's gonna be a big old battery powered floodlight, and I'm gonna start
Turn off
scanning
the light
the trees.
and put it away, and then I will pick up the bassinet.
Whilst you're scanning the tree line, I want you to make me a quick insight roll.
Yep, that's going up another one. That's a 3.
You show for a second that, as well as seeing the trees and the undergrowth, you see a pair of red eyes.
Y'all
They
see
were
that?
definitely eyes, and they were very definitely red.
You see that? Y'all see that?
Mm-mm.
I'm
No,
looking at the. Okay, little fella. I'm looking at more at the baby in the bassinet.
As you look at the baby, it seems to be reaching out with its little arms, its little cute stubby arms.
Give
It's
it a finger to hold on to. Hey there.
grasps your finger in its entire hand, and it looks up at you with beautiful pale blue eyes.
Oh, you're a looker. Got eyes kind of like. Hmm. Wait a minute. Who else did what? Who had the big bright blue eyes back in high school?
uh,
Charisse, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Charisse.
She's still in the area? I haven't seen her any lately.
Yeah, she was working at Duncan couple weeks ago when I went in there and got a donut.
Any signs she was pregnant?
Not that I was aware of, but I really wasn't. I went in there for one of them cinnamon glazed biscuit donuts, you know. Nene, it's her favorite, so I was going to get it for her, and I didn't pay any attention.
Well, this kid's got eyes just like hers. Take him, open up the back of the back seat and set the bassinet down. I suppose it's also a heavy little bugger here. Hey.
Yeah, it feels actually not just that this is a newborn, but there's almost like some extra weight in the bottom of the basket.
Okay, set him down, and I'll just sort of, while it's holding on the finger, I'll use the other hand to sort of search around in the bassinet to see if there's anything else in there.
You'd think that there's probably some supplies because of the weight of the basket, but as you reach in, all that there is, well, there appears to be earth, and there appears to be, well, for want of a better term, there appears to be a small wooden board underneath where the baby is lying. And on that board, there seems to be something carved, but you can't tell what it is. You can just feel there's carving on that piece of wood.
Hey, gesture over to blanking on your name, Matt.
Hank.
Hank, come here, check out this board, and I will swaddle the baby and begin to try and pick him up and hold him in my arms.
All right, so I'll go check out the board and the earth. So I figure if I'm a county worker, I'd probably be. Is this something that I'm familiar with? Is this earth from someplace that I may have been before?
This is local earth. This is kind of the sort of stuff that this whole forest is pretty much growing from. And the board seems to have a symbol, one single symbol carved into it. It seems to be like a crown.
This is, I ain't never seen anything like this. I mean, I don't know.
Is it what? That looks like one of them things the kings wear.
A crown.
Yeah.
You look at the baby and you notice that the 4 odd lumps that you saw on its head, they kind of look a bit like a crown too, really. I mean, obviously it's just the soft plates of its skull that haven't settled yet, but yeah, I suppose in this moonlight, could be a crown.
I know we were supposed to go into my place, drop off, but we need to get probably to the fire station or at least to the clinic, because this kid looks, from the last movie I was on where we had to deal with medical drama, this kid looks a little young. Probably needs to get this to a kid, a wet nurse, and especially for some proper medical coverage. I will pull back the cloth. Do I see any signs of the umbilical or anything like that that's still attached?
The umbilical is gone. In fact, what's really odd is that although this baby is clearly a male, there is no umbilical at all. It has no belly button, no umbilical link.
Yeah, that one I'm definitely going to take an inside roll on.
That's an insight roll.
And that's a 6. So hit me with it.
So you obviously have worked out that this baby is not what it seems to be. And you're now starting to doubt whether it's even a human. I mean, it's clearly demi-human because it's got human characteristics. But you start to kind of feel slowly as you are lifting the baby to see what else is kind of different about it. And although it hasn't got an umbilical, it does seem to have some kind of stubby vestigial tail.
And then I'll go look at its feet.
Its feet are human.
Okay.
It's got all the relative requisite number of toes, and they're so cute.
Raymond, if you
Okay.
reach under the front seat, Tony, where I work at the used car emporium, was giving away these little squeaker ducks, and it was on like the wheels. It squeaks. It might entertain the kid while we're driving. Should be underneath the seat.
Yeah. Why did you find that? Um,
All right.
what, Hank, what's the status of some of our more backwood folks?
They're more or less the same as you remember them.
Yeah. Any of them have any other properties to them
Oh,
that we
I'm
know
sure.
of?
I mean, yeah, you know how many of these old boys have stills out back somewhere? Where else
That's
you
not what I mean by oddities. And I'm not talking just extra fingers or lack of fingers.
you talking like
Do you want to lift the baby up so that the others can see, or are you gonna kind of hide it and swaddle it and keep it warm? What's the
I'm gonna
choice?
swaddle it for the moment. It's just like
Just keep this one to yourself for a little while.
just yeah. We really, and I'm gonna now look around a little more pensively. We really should just get into town and get to the fire
Yeah.
station or something.
yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
So you get
Swaddle
back
them.
into the truck, you fire it up again. Oddly enough, it fires first time this time. You start to drive again quite slowly because you don't want to damage the radiator. And you see, sure enough, just like you did the last couple of times you went past this bundle, you see the standing stone at the side of the road. Are you
What
going
the
to
hell?
stop at it this time, or are you going to just keep on driving past?
I think I'm going to stop.
Okay. You stop and you climb out of the truck. And as you walk up, you notice that the standing stone is, well, it's a large monolithic slab of granite. You probably think like you should have recognized that it would have been there before, but honestly, tonight's the first time that you've been seeing this. But when you look at it, it's ancient. It it seems like it's covered in moss. It's got various cracks in it. But what's really of interest is that the face as you approach it has got a carving on it. And the carving appears to be of a tall, willowy woman with a crown.
That look like the crown that is on the board.
This is more like a traditional crown,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's kind of similar to the one on the board, but this has got 6 points rather than the 4 that the board has. Maybe that's just because it's a stylized image.
Is there anything under? If I take my pocket knife out and kind of scrape the moss off, is there anything underneath it?
There's no inscription, but you do see that there are parts of the carving that have eroded with time. And as you stand there looking at this willowy figure, you notice that the carvings go around the sides. Do you want to have a look on all 4 sides of the
Yeah,
stone?
I'll open up my flip phone and just kind of shine it around.
So you notice that there are vines that entwine from the bottom of this tall, thin, it's almost kind of ethereal looking figure. This tall, slender woman has vines coming from her feet, from her toes, that wrap around onto both sides. And then these seem to be entwined, these vines, into almost like thorns. And then the thorns take it round to the other side. And on the back, there is another figure of a willowy looking female. But this one has no face.
The hell?
This female has got an additional part of the carving that stands out to you. This female has got wings. She's got what looks to be a crown of 4 horns, and she's got a long, curved, and barbed tail. Make me an insight roll.
That's a 6.
Yeah, it is kind of worrying and scary that
Mm-hmm.
these two figures seem to be carved in such proximity, but they also seem to be intertwined. Do you want to shout over Hank and Raymond?
Hey guys, do you remember when we were in my grandmother's basement playing that Dungeons and Dragons game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Was it a harpy? Remember, because it ate my first character. It grabbed it and and carried it over and threw it in the river when I was playing that that wizard.
That's what you get for playing a wizard. You should have been a dwarf like me.
I know, but I swear this thing looks like that. It's got wings and a crown. But y'all need to come look at this.
There's also the succubus too. That was also one of the characters. And then there's the banshee.
Oh, damn! I forgot about that damn banshee. Yeah, but this thing's got. I don't know what the hell this thing is.
So,
Yeah.
Hank, Raymond, are
Can
you
we get
going to
on? We get
have a look?
this kid to the fire station.
Yeah, I'll have to go home and get my monster manual anyway. All right. Yeah.
You just want to look at that picture of that succubus again.
Shh, don't tell Nene. All right.
I'll
Wasn't
have
that
taken
harpy
off the
topless
gold.
too?
I'll take
Yeah.
off the gold chain that I'm wearing and basically start giving it to the baby to play with.
As the baby touches the gold chain, it seems to appreciate the coolness of the metal. And it starts to put its hands on either side of the little cross that you've got there. It doesn't try and investigate it with its mouth, which is something that you would expect of a baby this age, but it just seems to happily grip onto the cool of the metal.
Just dangle and sort of gently pull from it to keep him active. It's not
The
crewing.
baby's just slowly trying to do almost like pull-ups, looking like it's trying to grab the item from you.
And I'll just keep playing with him. I'm having this strange feeling like we're the 3 wise men of coming to Nazareth.
I do remember my lessons. You Melchior or Balthazar now?
Can tell you which one, but guess I'm giving them the gift of gold. One of you's got to give the frankincense and myrrh.
Well, I reckon I can find a good tree and get some good good smelling something for him.
There's some perfume that Nene keeps in the glove compartment.
Well,
There you
there's
go.
the frankincense. You got to come up with the myrrh.
It's always the myrrh.
And let's get driving.
Yeah. So again, you get in, you fire up the truck, and you start driving. And the moon is starting to really look quite pink now at this point. And you notice that as you're driving, you no longer come across that bundle in the road, but even though you've been driving this straight line all along, you head past the standing stone once more,
Oh, come on. now.
almost as if you're circling on a straight road.
This doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Well, where's this turning? Surely you should have hit the turning by now.
All right. I didn't turn. You didn't see the wheel turn,
No.
right?
We
No.
ain't turned one
Okay.
damn bit.
All right.
You want to
I
back
had-
up? You want to roll it backwards? Maybe see if we can do it that way.
I was thinking that. I hadn't had any Budweiser tonight.
Wait,
I-
wait. Where's the stack?
well,
'Cause we
shit.
hit the stag shortly after the stone.
Right.
Where's its body?
Have we passed the body storyteller? Bud, you still got that piece
The
of antler?
roadside is still empty.
Bud, you still got that piece of antler?
Yeah, we threw it in the back.
Pull up. I'm going to
Alright.
grab the antler, and I'm going to come around to the side where the side door of the passenger, and I'm going to open it up. Raymond, just hold on a sec. I'm going to take the piece of the antler and hold it above where the baby's at. Let's see if it does anything.
The baby releases one hand from the gold chain and reaches for the antler.
You want that? You go on ahead.
It takes the antler from you and just looks at you and burbles a little bit and releases the chain and just puts both hands on the antler and holds it close to its chest.
It seems like it.
Yeah, seems like.
You know what? I'm calling Rick at the fire station. I'm gonna have him come out here.
You pick your phone up and you notice that suddenly all the bars just start dropping off.
Is that one of them cricket phones?
Yeah, Nene wanted to save a buck, so we switched. Dang it.
Raymond, you got any service?
Let me check.
Again, as you lift your phone up, the bars start dropping one by one.
So much for international roaming charges. I got no signal as well.
Shit.
The
All
amount
right.
of time that I've spent around on these back roads, do I recognize where we are?
Somewhere in the pit of your stomach, you kind of know where you are, but you don't recognize a specific location. It's
Okay.
just like a gut feeling that you've been here before at some point.
Okay. But this doesn't make any goddamn sense because I mean I feel like I know this place. Like
Yeah.
I've been here before. Like that, like it's here. We know it, but for the life of me, I can't tell you where in the hell we are.
Well, there was that fishing hole we went to a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but I mean that's we would have gone down in that holler, and
Yeah.
this don't look like that.
This should just be this should go right into town. I mean, it should literally go past the fire station.
What was that? Oh, it was the meeting I went performance did at the British Museum. What was it? What were they saying? It was the section in the geology department. Oh, what was it? What was it? That's right. The mountains in Scotland have the same geological properties as the ones here in the Appalachians. At some point in the past, the two were the same, or at least they were the same region.
I learn something new every day, I guess.
I flunked geography. Remember?
Yeah,
It
well,
sounds like a credible
hey,
theory,
you
though,
excelled at that
surely.
in the machine class.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't like rocks. All right. So you think we're in Scotland? I don't think I made that wrong turn.
Now that would be a thing, but that stone, which I'll point back in the general direction, that's something we normally more find over in the British Isles and Scotland than here that we've seen in all the times we've been here, all our lives here.
It's definitely not a native type of carving.
Hmm.
It is more Celtic of origin. And the age of it makes you think that it probably isn't from maybe any of those first settlers that came over from Europe. Maybe it's even older than that.
And you know how gung ho some of those church folks are. They think they'd let that sit, especially that close to the road.
Not the Presbyterians around here, no.
No.
No,
I mean, you ain't been out here cutting, have you, Hank?
Oh, well, a few months ago, I had to do a little bit of repair work back on the main road, but I mean, like, I didn't see nothing like this.
Storyteller, how thick is the woods around?
after about 20, 30 feet, the undergrowth seems to be getting quite dense.
Okay.
I mean, this part of the forest supposedly well.
Mhm.
And yeah, that kind of tracks. I mean, it's a heavy forest. It's a few. I mean, it's thousands of acres of pines. But for the most part, yeah, this small section that you seem to have repeatedly driven through doesn't track to anything that you know, except for it feels right. It feels like you've always been here in a really odd kind of way.
All right.
And it's whilst you're pondering on this that the the moon seems to be darkened.
I think we should get moving.
Well, if memory serves, there's like along this road, there's like a little offshoot that used to go up to Jesse's Still. Remember that? Remember we
Yeah.
found that?
Yeah.
We should be able, I mean, the 4-wheel drive works. So I wonder if we can kind of go through the woods. I mean,
The
I don't
verge
know.
is
You thinking
quite
about
wide.
pushing past that still and then see if we can get on the other side?
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. I got a chainsaw in the back if we need it, but
You probably could head off onto the verge, drive through probably about 20, 30 feet into the forest, maybe drive parallel to the road alongside it, maybe.
mhm.
Could be enough to cut through.
Want to give it a shot?
Well, with your shocks absorbers, this baby's going to sit on my lap.
So you
Yeah.
fire up the truck, you start driving towards the trees. And after a few minutes, you've entered the tree line, you are driving through this uneven terrain,
Oh,
starting to feel just a little bit, well, not nauseous because it's not that kind of feeling, but
Mhm.
it's almost like an excitement that's building in your stomach as you're hitting all of these little bumps and jars. And suddenly the truck seems to stop just half up on a log that you're trying to drive across.
Oh God. But I thought you said this was 4-wheel drive.
It is. Hang on. Let
will
me
we
back up
overheat?
and see if I can hit. No, I'm going to back up and see if I can hit it a little bit harder. Hold on. I'll try to
As
back
you
it up.
put it into reverse, you see that the back end of the truck slides down slightly. Maybe the leaf mulch underneath your wheels has got you trapped.
Ah,
You
shit.
get the feeling that the vehicle's now kind of stranded a little bit in the trees here.
All right. Tell you what, I'm going to try to chainsaw part of it and see if we can slide that log out from underneath. At least get the front wheels off.
You get out,
If you got a shovel, I'll try and dig out some of that crap from underneath the tires.
Yeah, there should be
grab the
enough on back there.
chainsaw, you
Raymond,
start to use
you
it.
and little baby Ray, okay?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it'll be a little easier with a little less weight in the truck, so I'll get out and step off to the side while holding the baby. Ah, oh, I bet you're hungry. Do I have any water?
Uh, there might be one in the cooler.
Yeah. Check the code. There's probably an old couple of waters from when we went fishing last time.
Yeah, and there's some
There's some gummy worms in there too. I don't know if babies like gummy worms, but we use them for bait. But that'd be fine.
there's some Cheetos back there too.
Not for you newborn.
Does
They
that
barely
those
don't have
flaming
the
hots?
teeth to be able to chew
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's
Ah,
why they're gummy. They can just nibble it.
they just pass me the water.
All right. Here you go. Here you go. Jeez. Man goes away and comes famous and gets all uppity and wants water.
I never really liked those flaming ones
I
anyway.
almost managed to get a BAFTA award for that medical role when I was doing that stint on the BBC 4.
Batting
I
award?
Not likely I was going to get that Emmy from the US.
I tried to watch that and I couldn't understand a word y'all were saying.
Yeah, but they spoke English, right? Was it you said they were trying to talk English, but it was just funny?
Yeah.
That's what they were saying about me. All right. Come on, little one. And I'll
All
open
right.
up the cap and just pour a little water in the cap and try to feed them that.
Baby seems happy with the water. And as it looks up at you, you can see that it's almost like it's now starting to recognize you as you're looking straight on into its face.
Sure. And I'll just spend the next few minutes giving him water in the cap.
Yeah, the baby seems to appreciate that. Whilst you're moving the log and freeing the vehicle, the pair of you, Budden and Tank, you notice that underneath where the log is, there is what appears to be a bit of a hollow. So you start to move the chopped up parts of the log and shore up into the hollow so that your vehicle can continue on its way without slipping any further. And as you do, something comes out of the hollow straight into your face. It's a giant moth.
Oh.
Its wingspan's around about a foot across.
Oh, dang.
That's not a normal moth.
What the hell was
You
that?
hear it flapping as it goes fluttering off into the night.
I mean, I've seen some weird stuff in these woods. I mean, big old moth.
Don't stand up to my chainsaw. All right.
Better tell them boys up at Point Pleasant we saw Mothman's baby.
All right. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware man.
Make sure that thing didn't take your catalytic converter.
Don't say that. It's a Ford. All right.
So you start again trying to free the vehicle. And then you hear that fluttering noise again. This time it's getting a lot louder.
I will back up this time.
You think that the moth's coming back.
That sounds. In fact, I could hear that over the chainsaw. That's not normal.
Yeah, it's not just one moth that you're hearing. You're now hearing a lot of noise. You can hear overlapping sounds of flapping wings. And quite a few of these moths start to burst through the trees into the clearing where your vehicle is.
Oh,
Do you want to head
hell.
back inside the vehicle?
I'm going to grab the baby and heading for the vehicle.
Yep. Let's
As
let them
you
fly
all
by.
dive inside, these moths start to slap against the windshield. I mean, the windshield was cracked already because of hitting the stag, but these things are not doing it any real favors. They're hitting with quite some force, and you see that the inside of the wings of these giant moths are, well, it looks like some kind of almost like a skull pattern. They're battering themselves, trying to get into the vehicle, you think. Or maybe they're just trying to fly through this clearing and get out of the clearing,
Turn off the
but
lights.
you're in the
They're
way.
attracted by
Kill them
lights.
headlights. Kill them headlights.
I kill all the lights.
You turn the lights off, and you can now see that there's a slight phosphorescence to the glow of these moths as they hit the windshield. The dust that comes off the wings of these moths seems to just shimmer and glitter a little bit in the moonlight.
What the hell are these?
One of them in particular starts to smash its head against the windshield. You notice it's a foot across. These are huge moths. You've never seen any moth this big in this area before.
Well, this ain't right. We need to get the hell out of here now.
Yeah. Let's see if we've loosened it enough to get out.
You try turning the engine on, but it doesn't do anything.
Damn it.
You
All right.
think that maybe you've got some kind of electrical problem. So you try turning it over. No, it's definitely, you can hear it trying to fire, but it's just not going anywhere. Do you want to wait for these moths to pass and then you can get out and pop the hood?
Yeah.
You
Do they
notice
look
that
like they're baiting, or are they still pounding to try and get inside?
it looks like they're flying past. It looks like they were fleeing from something or migrating or something. But definitely these moths have been leaving a bit of a trail of all this dust all over the upper surface of the truck. As you start to lift the hood of the truck, you notice that your fingers are starting to glow somewhat.
Need a flashlight up there?
Yeah. Dang it.
You want to turn that thing on with the moths around.
No.
As you put the flashlight on, you notice that your fingers glow an eerie green color.
Glitter. All right.
Careful, Nene's going to want to use something for that for a makeup bit.
She might, or wonder where I got it from, and I got to do all this explaining.
I would surely love to hear you talk your way out of this one.
Dang it. All right. Let's see. Let's check
So
the
you pop
battery
the hood.
connections. Yeah.
Battery's good. Connections are good.
All right.
It just doesn't seem to want to fire for some unknown reason. But whilst you're fiddling around under the hood, you also notice that the bottom cap of the radiator has been knocked off, and you've now started to lose water.
Crap. Take my hat, kind of wrap it around there, so maybe it'll stop it. Well, no, it's a mesh hat. Well,
Actually, check the third bag over.
yeah.
What are we looking for?
Well, good guy knows how to support his support staff. I got some dancers that I usually work with. I found it helpful. Lesson from Mama: carry a few tampons.
Okay.
You managed
You would be
to
surprised at keeping those dancers happy.
Hey.
Yeah.
you managed to plug the bottom of the radiator.
Take the
But
boy
you
out of the
feel like
woods,
you
but you
probably
can't take the woods
lost
out of the
most
boy.
of your water.
I tried to listen to Mama.
Lost some water? Well, we can always, one of us can always pee in the radiator, I guess.
Should be one more bottle of water underneath the seat. I never cleaned this thing out.
You managed to pour the water that you locate into the radiator. And then as you turn to head back into the truck, something catches your eye on one of the trees nearby. There appears to be a carving. It's glowing. Maybe some of the moths hit the tree bark and left that dust. But you notice there's kind of like a crown sigil on some of these trees.
Walk over and look at it and see if it matches what I saw on the sandstone.
Definitely matches what's on the piece of wood and the sandstone. As you look, the other face of the tree, the opposite side of the tree, there is another carving. And this one seems to be a pair of bat wings.
If I put my hand on them and rub my hand and get some of that glitter or whatever it is on it,
Yep.
does it give any more detail, or is it?
It looks like there is a set of bat wings, and there seems to be a very crude face drawn in the center of the bat wings.
Hmm. I'll try to clear it off, see if I can make the face out.
Well, there's no facial details. It's just a blank face, but it's like an ovoid, but with a crown on it. You look at the other side, and there's something underneath the other crown as well. When you rub the dust onto that crown, you see that underneath that there is what looks to be a very stylized woman's face.
Well, whoever was up here, one, they carved pretty good, and two, they have this fascination with this queen chick. So I don't know.
Or what does it look like?
I mean, it's crown with, I mean, it's kind of beautiful actually. But on the backside, it's like bat wings with a face.
So
Really?
there's no facial detail on that Batwing face.
Yeah, there's no really
Hmm.
detail. It's a face, but you really can't. You know it's a face, but you can't see it. You know.
Hmm. Well, sticking with what we were saying earlier, there is I got tickets to that one. What was it? Midsummer Night's Dream. There's the tales of the fairy court. There's what was it? Tatiana, or was the queen, and she had a partner. I think it was like Oberon was the lord.
You notice that Shakespeare's going over the heads of Bud and Tank,
I
but
mean, I passed English because I was on the offensive line. I didn't necessarily listen.
I was kind of
Yeah.
thinking Michael Keaton Batman, but okay, you a little more than I do.
Okay, well, in that case, you know something? This little guy right now, I'm going to call him Oberon. You like the name Oberon? Will that work for you, little guy?
I thought
Baby
Baby
looks
Ray
up
was.
at you and gurgles.
I thought Baby
No,
Ray
okay,
was
we're,
fine.
we're going to stick with Oberon for your name. Yeah, you're Oberon.
All right, Obi.
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 Yeah, you get
We're gonna call him
Obi
Obi.
works for you
Obi.
too.
Obi.
I'm going to call him Oberon.
Obi. It is. Baby Obi. I like it.
You notice that Baby Obi now seems to perk up somewhat now that you've named him. He looks quite happy all of a sudden.
Oh, well, look at that. Little feller's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Are you actually holding Obi, Raymond?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
You can feel the little vestigial tail wiggling around in the bottom of the bundle.
Yeah. Just don't pee on me, little guy.
Well, I got some, towels in the truck, hand towels where I do my mechanic stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Don't-
right now we're good. Thankfully, he hasn't peed yet, but we may need a little while after that water I gave him. Sure, it'll flow through fast.
Tony gave them to me because they misspelled Tony on it when he got the promo, so he just let me have it so I can use it. I don't know how you misspell Tony.
Oh, I can believe that. And if you're not using a Y, you can use an I, you can use an E, sometimes use an A, depending, especially if we're in Latin America.
It was IE. I mean Tony. He wasn't very
Nah.
happy.
Did they think Tony was a girl?
I don't think so. He called and ordered it. I was, working on a '68 Chevy while he was calling, and he kind of got mad. I guess he did have to spell his name a couple of times. I don't know who he was talking to, but he didn't seem very happy.
At
Well,
this point, you hear a noise emanating from somewhere in the tree line behind you. You hear almost like a snuffling noise. There's something in the trees nearby.
Yeah, I'm
Do you
pulling
want
out
to-
the floodlight and shining it over there.
You
Well,
see
this has
those
all
red
been going
eyes?
on. I have a feeling like Hank's anxiety is gradually increasing a little bit, and he's been, just playing with a pocket knife that he's got, tucked away, and just trying to do little things. But please, keeper, what do you got?
You spot literally in the middle of the beam. There's a set of red eyes on a small black creature's face. Looks like a rabbit. And then it looks up and you see it's got very long incisors. And as it comes almost hopping towards you, you see that this rabbit, this huge kind of hare almost, probably about 2 foot. It's big. And it's got stubby things coming out of the top of its head. They look like antlers.
But I ain't never seen a jackalope in these parts of the hills. But this thing looks a bit more like that thing from that British movie we watched when we was in high school, that Holy Grail thing.
Oh,
I don't
shit.
reckon we should be around here.
No, I didn't bring. I got the bow and arrow in the back, but I didn't bring the shotgun. I didn't think I was.
Given our luck tonight, I don't think we should be trying to shoot or kill anything right now.
I reckon we should get back in the truck.
Yeah, let's
try it up and try starting it up again there, bud.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll leave Mr. Bunny alone here.
You climb back in the truck, you turn the engine over, and it fires. Maybe the truck is as scared as you guys.
That's
As the
good,
headlights
Scarlet.
come on, you notice that there are multiple sets of these red eyes all around you in the undergrowth. And hopping forward, you see that each one of them belongs to another one of these jackalopes that each one's the size of a medium-sized dog.
These things are big.
I've never seen this many all at once.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever seen anything like this at all? Nothing I know of in this area.
No.
Besides, isn't jackalope supposed to be out west?
That's why I'm saying
And
I
aren't
never
jackalopes kind of not real? They're
They're
cryptids.
yes, they were.
There was one in Outback on the wall.
Yeah, but you also saw
Make me an
but you could-
insight roll, please.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I knew that was.
God.
I think you all agree that's fair.
Yep. Okay. Yep. That's up
Yep.
another one.
Yep, I'm going up too.
Yep. Hank is starting to edge a little bit closer.
Okay. I'm assuming that we're all still on green for color check.
Yep.
How are we all doing on our insight scores?
I'm at a 4.
All
We're the
three of you are at 4.
Look at us
Okay.
go.
We're the 4 horse.
Hey, the three amigos all on 4.
Oh boy.
So,
Well, we're trying to be wise men too. So
yeah. Did you find that Mer, by the way?
I got an inkling of what I might need to do for Myrrh.
So, you notice that these creatures are all starting to circle the truck now. Do you want to try and drive through them?
Yeah, I'm going to do my best, Bo and Luke Duke, and try to jump and get the hell out of here.
Okay. You've leveled off the truck enough by moving the log to be able to drive off. Make me a human and an occupation roll to see if you can drive without hitting any of the jackalopes.
Yep. I rolled a 2 and a 1.
So you do manage to collide with a couple. You probably fear that maybe the outcome of 2-ton truck versus 2-foot jackalope is not weighed on the side of the jackalope. And you kind of, you don't really like to think about that, but you're clear of this part of the wood, and you start driving, and you notice that the trees are starting to thin out a little bit. Maybe you're heading back towards the road.
You didn't find, so we didn't see that terminal
Still?
anywhere?
You notice that the road looks different to how it looked before. Maybe you're just further down it, but yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, these pine trees, they do all look kind of very similar. So you keep on. Now you're gonna move back to try and drive through the woods, or move back to the road.
Let's
Whereabouts are we thinking of this crossroads?
let's try the road since you said it looked a little bit different. I'll try
Okay.
it just to see and give the truck
So
a
you
rest here. Take it out of 4-wheel drive for a minute.
you managed to pull off onto the verge and then up onto the road, and you go straight past a set of gravel turnoffs. There's two of them, one on either side. It's like it's a crossroad all of a sudden, but doesn't remind you of anywhere.
Hmm.
As you slowly roll past these gravel offshoots, you see that one of them leads off into the trees. The other one leads to a little cabin that's set back from the road. Do you want to try and stop there, or are you just going to want to drive on?
You
But you
guys
know that.
recognize any of this
I
place?
was just gonna say, you know that cabin?
No,
I don't recognize it.
they might have one of
Fairly
the.
old and decrepit, but it looks like it probably could give you shelter if you really needed to.
I was hoping to have an old phone line that was still active. You know,
Well, something we can make a more solid fix to the car, because I'm sure even with those tampons there, it's not gonna.
Not going to last forever, is it?
Yeah.
yeah. Let's check out the cabin. At least maybe I can get underneath the truck and see.
Okay, so you pull off down the gravel, hear it crunching beneath you as you pull up to the cabin. You notice that it's an abandoned cabin, but it's not in bad repair. If anything, it looks like possibly it's only not been used for a few weeks. Maybe it's like a holiday cabin for someone, or but it's one that you've not seen before. So you're a little bit wary. You knock on the door.
Hmm.
There's no response.
Hmm.
You look around. You can't see a phone line coming into the place, but maybe there's one underground, or maybe you just can't see it in the dark. Do you want to try going in, see if there's a phone?
I'm staying in the truck with the baby until it's clear.
Yeah, I'll go in. I'll knock again. Try the door. Is it unlocked?
Door's unlocked.
Okay.
As you walk in,
I'll go in with Bud because I've got the big old floodlight.
there's an inch of dust on top of everything, but it doesn't appear to be in a bad state of repair. You notice there is an old style telephone though. It looks kind of retro, maybe like 1920s.
Hmm.
It's got a separate handpiece and base with a microphone on it.
Would you
Well,
look at that? Now,
let's call Edison here. I'll kind of pick it up and
and that
flip the handle.
You hear that there is a dial tone.
Hey, is it? Does it have like little dials or anything, or is it?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a number dial.
All right. 911.
You get an answer. Hello, emergency operator. How may I assist you?
Doug, is that you?
No, no, this ain't Doug.
Uh,
This is Charlie.
hey, Charlie, this is Bud. Uh,
Oh, Bud, how you doing?
Not too good. We're at a cabin out in the woods. We found a baby along the road. Um, uh, Not quite sure where in the woods we are. I haven't been to this cabin before. Can you trace the line or do whatever it is you do?
Sure, if it's on a modern exchange system, we can work out, and then the line goes dead.
Well, shit.
Meanwhile, in the truck, I'm singing, just singing a lullaby to the baby.
As you look towards the cabin, you see that all around the door frame, the moon is hitting, and there are carvings of words all around the door frame, but you can't quite make out what it says from here.
I'll roll down the window. Bud, Hank,
Out to the door. What's up?
check the door frame. There's something around that.
Turn the flashlight on it.
You look and it's kind of a carving, and there are words, but they're hidden in amongst an intertwined ivy pattern and a thorn pattern. And where they reach at the top, you just see one word that is very clearly visible. And it says Queen.
Queen.
You probably could, if you wanted to try and rub that dust all over that's still covering your hands, you might be able to get a heads up on what the rest of the words are saying.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. So the words that are showing on the inside of this carved door frame are "Behold the mighty queen of the forest, for she will bring you grief." And the word grief is on the side with the thorns, and behold is on the side with the ivy.
Bud, you ever heard of a Queen of the Forest?
No, I know King of the Road, but I don't know Queen of the Forest.
Hey, Ray, you ever heard of a Queen of the Forest and all that English stuff you did?
Well, that would be Tatiana or Titania. That was the name. She would be the queen
Well,
to Oberon.
oh, okay. So maybe Obi's gonna be her husband or something?
Stranger myths have happened, but then again, we have yet to figure out where this kid came from and where mom is.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless, which one? I'll just sort of turn and look around, see if there's anything else around us.
You notice that the only other thing that is around you is a couple of smaller stones set onto what you now assume is this gravel driveway. But each of these stones seems to have small carvings on them, different animals carved onto each. Very stylized, but animal carvings.
Let's just point to that since you got the floodlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that there's moths, there's foxes, there's a stag, there's wolves, there's a bear. Just general woodland creatures.
Hmm.
I mean, it's kind of odd that they're all in the one woodland, obviously. But
Are there any pine trees around? You said pine
yeah,
forest. Any
it's mainly pine.
Hank's gonna find one that has some resin on it and pop the resin off
Yep.
and just start rolling it a little bit as sort of a nervous thing, but at the same time he's thinking myrrh was a resin. I remember that from church.
Yeah.
Bud's going to continue to walk through the cabin, see if he can find some lights, see if the lights come on, and to see if there's any like names or any papers or anything like that. To if he can figure out who owns the cabin, maybe he'll know where he is.
You open up a couple of cupboards, couple of drawers, just to see if there's anything that you can locate. And you see that there is an old leather-bound book in one of the drawers, which you take out and open it up, and it's a pagan book. It's a Wiccan book of herbal remedies.
Hmm. Well, is there a name inscribed in it, or like?
No, but you can see that the publish date is 2021, so
Oh,
it's not an old book.
hmm.
It's leather bound, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not old.
I'll keep it up on the table. Did the lights come on? Is there a light switch or any candles or anything in here?
There is no light switch. It doesn't look like there's electricity, but there is a couple of oil lanterns that seem to be filled, and
Yeah.
you can turn light on through one of those, just light it up and
Yeah.
regulate it.
I'll do that, and then I'll continue to walk through the house and see if there's, any sign of name or anything that's going to trigger his memory.
You don't see any names or anything like that. There is a bit of an odd cross stitch, but it just it looks like it's a picture of the Green Man.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. That's odd. All right. Well, I'll go back through and I'll grab one of the lanterns and I'll take it out. Is there like an outside shed or anything like that in this place?
There is a barn,
Sure.
and as you walk towards the barn, you notice that it once held livestock. You're not sure exactly what type of livestock because there's no sign of what it was, but there's definitely like a corral outside that possibly held some kind of farmed animal.
I'll give that a good once over and see if anything's out there that may trigger a memory or a name or deed or something.
There's nothing on the outside of the barn, but as you stick your head through the open barn door, you see that there is, well, where the feed trough is, there seems to be quite a lot of blood, and you seem to have found the site of maybe where little baby Obi came into this world.
Guys,
You find something?
think I know where Obi came into this world. Right there.
There's no people though. There's no mother for sure. But there's definitely the signs of blood, and there's some other remains of the process of.
Are there any tracks or anything like that leading away from it?
You notice that there is one single set of footprints that is in the dust that leads to the door of the barn and then just ends.
So we can push open, or we can open the door of the barn.
Yep, you can go in and out of the barn quite easily. There's no
But the tracks just stop at the
the
barn.
tracks just stop heading out of the barn. It's like it gets to the threshold and then it's as if it takes one step further and then vanishes.
Think that one calls for an insight roll?
I think so.
I'm still in the truck, so I don't see this.
Yeah.
No, you're lucky. You get away with this.
Oh, thankfully it's a 3 under the 4. So
I got a 4 on the 4. Does that okay?
That's
It has
good.
to be over.
You're good.
Okay.
No, it has to be. Yeah,
Okay.
it's got to be over.
Probably just walked out of the barn from here.
You feel uneasy, but yeah, something's walked out of the barn. But I mean, short of alien abduction or flying away or something, it's obviously it must have
Or
just
turn
not left any tracks.
or turn into a bird.
but you don't think baby always like left by some of them gray aliens or anything, do you?
Who are you, Geraldo Rivera? No.
Just thinking. Just thinking.
Told you not to watch that X-Files marathon. All right.
Of course, they don't know what I know about Obi's little appendage, which was an X-Files episode.
You start hearing a noise off down the gravel track.
From where we came in on the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good.
Past the road. It's loud. Kind of sounds a bit like maybe a bear or maybe it's hard to tell because of the echoing noise through the trees, but is it a stag bellowing?
Guys, I think it's time we moved on.
Well, I was hoping Charlie would trace the call before we got disconnected, but I guess he did.
I'm inclined to agree with Ray on this one. I think maybe we should head back out to the road and do it quick.
All right.
So you get into the truck and you drive up to the road. As you get to the crossroads, your headlights see something on the opposite gravel track, the one that leads off into the forest. And on the opposite side of that junction, there is a large stag. And on the back of the stag, you see there's a woman sat. She's dark skinned, very thin, elfin like almost. But she has a long, protruding tail and a large pair of wings on her back.
Guys, I'm gonna put my hands on both their shoulders.
The thing you notice most of all, though, and this is the bit that will cause you all to have the insight roll, is that beneath the crown on her head, there is no face.
Well, that's a 2 under 4.
Got a 1, so don't go up.
5.
Hey, there we go, bud.
So you're now at 5.
I am now at 5.
If you want, you can burn something in order to regain a point of your insight and take yourself back down. But it does mean that you've got to sacrifice something of yourself to do so. Maybe some form of denial might be good at this time.
You know what? That's it. Okay, give me the cooler. And I'm chucking my beer out the window.
Whoa, it's serious.
I mean,
I will
Oh.
look over at Obi and I will open the car door and step out with him.
Wait 1 second, Ray. I'm gonna grab that piece of pine resin
Mm-hmm.
and pop out a pocket knife. Do a quick little cut. Rub a little bit of blood on there. Like, it ain't myrrh, Obi. It's best I can do.
You notice that the baby takes it with his hand and he's holding the antler with one and then the piece of resin with the other hand.
So pass me the perfume and I'll.
Yeah. Well, let me go in the glove compartment. It's ode to,
Oh.
I can't never read that name here.
I'll put it in the basket
Oh,
and
the
I'll
aqua velvet, probably.
leave my chain in there, and I will approach her with the basket.
The woman slides down off of the large stag. You notice that it blinks at you with 3 red eyes. And it lowers its
7-year-old.
head.
That's a 6.
Is that an inside
And
roll
I'm
for
now
all of
at
us with the
5.
3 eyes?
You'd notice that as you look at this stag with the 3 eyes, it looks very familiar.
Okay.
In fact,
Yep.
you're sure the last time that you saw it, it was on the roadside.
I
Yeah.
rolled a 5, so I'm at a 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 6.
So,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
boy.
I think you were all kind of knowing where that was going, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So,
the less I
woman-
think about this, the happier I think I'm gonna be. And I'm
the
gonna
woman in
grab
front of you bows her head slightly, and with that faceless, impassive head, starts to walk towards you with its head slightly bowed. It reaches out a long and willowy arm and implores towards you, reaches out towards Raymond carrying the bassinet.
I
What do you wish
will
to do?
I will stop, put the bassinet down, and then I will back away.
Okay. She looks at you and gestures with both hands, and then reaches into the bassinet, and then heads skywards at an incredible rate. You see her silhouetted against the moon. What's the final thing that you see as she heads skywards? You get to write the ending. So, what's the thing that you see from this, Raymond? What's your vision of the end of this tale?
A mother lifting her child up in the silhouette of the moon, a la E.T.-ish.
A glorious ending where a mother is reunited with her babe. Hank, what do you see as the ending?
Boy, Hank for this one. Hank he watches as this being flies up into the sky, and he looks down at the stag a little bit, and it's like, I reckon I'm not going to go hunting for a while, if that's all right with you, big guy.
Stag bows its head. And you feel like a connection is formed between you and the wilderness. Bud, what's your take on this one?
As Bud looks up, pours the last of the beer out of his the last can. There's actually a face now on the flying individual. It's Nene's, and then he kind of looks down and he sees like a little baby. The little baby is scaring, and it looks kind of like Bud. And he looks over at Hank and Raymond. He says, I think I am going to go buy that ring now.
Life short, isn't it?
That's a beautiful image of you and Nene forever becoming that union that you always dreamed of. So we'll just leave all of you with that thought. It's not what happens, but those are the thoughts that you all leave this game with. The truth is that as she rises up into the sky, she raises the baby above her head and rips it asunder and sleeps herself in the blood of the infant. She was the rival queen.
Yep.
And so ends the tale of a king is born.
Oh boy. Oh.
And that, friends of the symphony, is where we end our show for tonight. Thank you all so much for everyone joining in and or is currently watching on replay. You're indeed the best part of waking up. We sincerely appreciate you.
Good luck
And
sleeping
again,
after
if
that
you
one.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed this content, please consider helping the Symphony make more by backing us on Patreon at Patreon Symphony Entertainment. We hope you've enjoyed this symphony, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a wonderful night, and hopefully understand the difference between your queens.